branch is headed by Sonnie Johnson, who's on with us. Sonnie, thanks for joining us on the Afternoon Constitutional. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. And how can people, first and foremost, find out more about the Frederick Douglass Foundation?
You can go to tfdf.org and find out all about us. And I should be launching our Virginia site sometime real soon. And I also have a Facebook fan page for Frederick Douglass Foundation of Virginia, so you can find me on there. Become a friend, become a member, and join us in March the 17th through the 19th for our Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C.
And is there a sign-up place, or do you just want to get everybody, where is the Leadership Summit going to be held?
It's going to be held in D.C. I think it's at one of the Marriott locations.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the website, and it's front and center, so as soon as you get there, you'll see it. And if you can't make it to the conference, if you can't make it to the conference this year, you can also support us by becoming a member. And we also have some calendars, which are excellent calendars, about history of the Republican Party, especially Black history therein. So I would encourage you to check those out as well. And they're really cheap and a bargain, and you'll love it.
Now, the premise that we started off on this was after some of these videos hit the internet of the group in California catching the Planned Parenthood people in the act of being themselves, and some really disturbing flash mob video of these folks catching them, almost encouraging all different sorts of law breaking in order to make it right with the law so that they could get abortions and do these things with 13-year-olds and such. But I said, it's good. It brings the issue to the fore. And there are some great organizations like the Pregnancy Center of Virginia that, contribute to that. If you're as upset as I was, I would volunteer and do those things. But you guys have been running a campaign, especially around the film Moffat 21, bringing the message of what Margaret Sanger really wanted to do with the Planned Parenthood, especially as it relates to the Black community, but to all communities. Sonnie, explain a little bit of how that's been going.
Oh, well, it's work, but like every generation is different, and you're finding in this generation that a lot more are pro-life, and we don't fall for the woman's right claim anymore. And I always like to caution people. What was it before it was woman's right? Well, what was it before it was the woman's right to choose? And most people don't know. And before it was to get rid of the unfit, to get rid of the imbecilic, to get rid of those that they deem unworthy to be here. So don't let the original message escape what they changed it. They're always into just changing the name or changing their approach. But like almost every other Democratic policy, it started with racism. It started with trying to eliminate the Black community. So I just really hope people will go back and actually learn about Margaret Sanger and what she's doing. And not only that, but look at the community and what she's done. According to the census that was just taken, we are no longer even the third population group anymore. We're not even the second anymore. We're in third place now. We've been replaced, by the Mexicans or whatever you want to call it.
Latino community.
We've been replaced. The Latinos, there you go. We've been replaced by them as the second majority in this country. And that has been because we have killed so many of our babies. They say that the most dangerous place for a Black person is in their mother's womb, because that's what we're doing. We're committing genocide, and not only can we hold those like Margaret Sanger responsible, we also have to start holding ourselves accountable to know that life is more than just convenient. It is God doesn't make any mistakes, and He gave you a baby for a reason, and your convenience doesn't even come into the equation. So we have to start taking more personal responsibility within our own neighborhoods as well.
The Planned Parenthood message has been reworked so many times and rerun over so many times that I think that's where a lot of our young people miss the message. But you give me hope Sonnie, in pointing out that we are becoming much more pro-life. But do you think groups that are pushing not just abstinence but thoughtfulness in the use of their body, as it were, the access to their body, as it were, is leading to that? Because I see it across a lot of population cells and a lot of different demographic groups, that oftentimes the unwanted sex, which leads usually fairly quickly to the unwanted pregnancies, is often driven by self-esteem issues, wanting to fit in, wanting to be part of the cool crowd, and that's what makes me feel like you have to get the message to the young people first.
Yeah, but see, yet again, that has a lot to do with the culture in which we are brought up, where we're not stressed that our brain is our most important attribute. Especially for our young girls, we're taught that our body is the image of what makes us who we are. And I fought that personally a lot during my life or whatever, and it's kind of, you get ostracized, you get put on the back burner if you want to be a person that actually stands up and actually has morals. Mm-hmm. But I always tell young girls that there's a difference between the popular girl and the happy girl. And we all shoot to be the happy girl. Some of us think that we can get there through popularity, but the majority of us have the goal of being happy. And we're beginning to realize that happiness comes when you have stability. So when you have that two-parent home, where, you have those two incomes coming in. And then you start to see people with a lot more self-responsibility about all other things. Mm-hmm. So that is where we need to start pushing and letting you know that back to the point where we start valuing family, because people will stand up and fight for their family where they might not fight for themselves as much. So once we can get that back in, and then once you get the family structure back in place, you can start to see people rebuilding their confidence. But something that I think that is really bringing this to the forefront is that you have the black leadership now starting to tell on themselves. And that is so important to our movement, because for such a long time, they were able to hide. But now you have them actually coming out, especially because of this video. Al Sharpton was on Hannity maybe a week ago or so, mm-hmm. And you had a reverend, mind you, on a national broadcast TV show advocating for abortion. Now, this is a minister of a church. Oh, well, I don't think he is, but no. I don't think he has a church or a congregation. But you have the black leadership actually advocating for abortion. And when asked with the question, do you think that it's inadvertently affecting the black community, he answered yes. But there are other things that are affecting us. How about we get the social justice right? So he basically just blew off the question. And my question to the black community is, what is more important? Is it more important that we get social justice, or that we actually have a chance at life and liberty? And that's a decision that we're hoping to make sure we put in the forefront before 2012 runs around.
Bless you for having the passion, because it's a long road. I mean, I've looked at I remember when I opened up the my first radio broadcast to Charlottesville, Virginia, and I said there's an awful lot of left going on around here. It's a long road, and I'm sure you're facing an even longer one at the Frederick Douglass Foundation, Sonnie. But with all the chapters around the country, talk about membership growth. And you guys have to be patient, but are you seeing membership growth and more people realizing that things like Sharpton talking about social justice comes from within, far more effectively than it comes from without. Social justice from coming without is really just signing over your sovereignty.
Yeah, but we don't. But that's the thing, and we're going to try to target our message this year. And as far as for our membership, we're growing. And what I plan on doing in Virginia is really turning up the heat, because I've been working with a lot of pastors in inner city Richmond in the last couple of weeks or so. Mm-hmm. And I had this wonderful experience. And just to kind of share it with you, I want to let you know, I went and spoke at this program, and they had all of the elected officials roaming around and all the grown-ups doing chit-chat, but they had a group of kids there. So I went to the kids, and I spoke with the kids, and I just told them, I'm here for you. What do you need? And I had a little guy tell me, I want to be a basketball player. So I'm like, what are you going to do when you get your millions? Are you going to put them in CDs? Are you going into the stock market? How are you going to manage your millions? He had no idea what I was talking about. So the next day, his mother calls the pastor, and the pastor calls me and said, I don't know what you said to him, but he's changed his whole demeanor. Everything has changed about him in one day. It's like you just flipped the switch. When I went back last weekend, he wasn't there, and for me, that's scary. If you go back and the black boy isn't there that you're expecting to be there, it's scary because you're wondering what happened.
Right.
And to find out that he was out getting a job, he was at a job interview, I was floored. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing is now, I know that they want it. I know that they are tired of it. They are tired of the poverty. They are tired of their dwindling numbers. They are tired of having no influence. And when you present it to them that they actually have a choice, then they start to seek knowledge and start to seek something better for themselves. And that's what I plan on bringing to Virginia.
Well, if you need any help opening chapters in, you've spoken to the Roanoke Tea Party. Our show's on in Roanoke and Charlottesville, and I know that you're very big down there, and they love you there. And you've got a Lynchburg operation going on as well at Liberty College and Liberty University. Pardon me. And we'd love to set up a shop here near the University of Virginia, and let them cogitate on that for a while.
Oh, I would love to. I'm trying to make my inroads around the state. With everything going, I wanted to kind of get into some of the state elections that are going to be going on this year. Mm-hmm. So we're really going to work on that. But I want to do is empower them before 2012. But empower them to understand that by November, they can have more control over their government by first putting in place respectable people in their state legislature. And it was really cool to have the Republicans come down and talk to the black community about life. They came down and talked about school choice. They came down and talked about you giving up your parental rights as soon as your child walks through a school building. So they came down and these resonated. So these are the issues that we know that all people universally have in common. We all care about our kids. We all want some kind of power over how we live. And it's just no one has presented them with that option. So right now, Black History Month, we're going to them that there is an option for something different. We understand how everything is. We understand that it's not going to be easy, but we can tell you that there is an option. And if you want to work for it, then we're here to work with you.
Sonnie Johnson from the Frederick Douglass Foundation. Again, it was TFDF is the website. .org. And, and everyone should, because the message is in all the communities of government handouts and the government is to take care of us and how come the government doesn't give me any, and that message is infecting all of our communities and to go to some of the rallies I've been to with the Frederick Douglass Foundation, it's inspiring, because, you almost get a preconceived notion that, the black community or any community has been sold down that river, and it's so inspiring to see people say, no, we understand freedom and we want freedom. We want to make the inroads for ourselves. So thank you for doing that, and anything we can do to help. You got accomplices here, Sonnie.
Well, I appreciate it, and just signing off for Black History Month. There can be no political independence without first having economic dependence. So first, stop worrying about being dependent on government, be self-sufficient, and then you can control your politics.
And this is what I tell electeds, Sonnie, when they talk about this. I say, you get the government out of the economy so that jobs can be created, and you'll see a lot of this strife and a lot of these schisms start to heal over because people will go to work. You'll see achievement gaps come down when kids see better margins in achieving their education. So much gets better when you start having a vibrant and diverse economy full of options for all the community members.
Well, we just wish that some politicians' goal wasn't to make people unhappy so that they can maintain their power. And we know that with the administration that we have, that's what we're dealing with. If they lose the people who are dependent on government, who are they going to have left? And that's the whole thing. Without their dependency, without the without the purse strings, they have no constituency, because we are right on the issues that matter, and that's what we need to do, and take that to every community, not just the black community. Who disagrees with life? Who disagrees with family? Who disagrees with financial security?